Hmm. Hmm. Welcome back, my loves. Maria Chaudhry here. And I am so glad you're here with me as we navigate and consciously choose your authentic path into the unknown. Let me give you a little context of where we've been and to where we're going. In the previous videos, I introduced the new landscape that modern spiritual women are navigating today, and how to cultivate the conditions for awakening, for self-actualization by tapping into our feminine power and unlocking the 3 power centers. So in Power Center 1, we identified and broke through our limiting beliefs and old stories to find the deeper truth of who we are. And in Power Center 2, we tapped into and rooted into the earth and connected to the higher intelligence of life to deepen our trust in our own inner wisdom and unlocking our spiritual navigation system. And in this video, we're unlocking Power Center 3, which holds the keys to magnetizing support so that you can manifest your destiny. Because in the masculine system of power, we celebrate independence. You know, in fact, there's a certain stigma around needing support or asking for help, as if it signifies that you're weak or insufficient. So think about it in your own life. How do you feel about yourself when you don't know how to do something or you don't have the answer? Might depend on what it is or the circumstances, but are there times that you beat yourself up? Are there times when you try to hide your lack of knowledge or to like almost torture yourself to try to figure it out before you ask anybody else for help? I certainly have fallen into those traps. Absolutely. But here we are. We're in a different place now. We're here because we're creating in the system of feminine power, right? It's the realm of the feminine. And in this realm, that tactic of trying to do it all by yourself doesn't work because you just can't do it all by yourself. I mean, if you want to self-actualize or awaken, you need support. We can't become ourselves by ourselves. So this is where the 3rd power center comes in, because it has everything to do with unlocking the power of support so that we can step into our fullness and play our biggest game, so we can bring our biggest contributions to the world. So think about it. What is the biggest thing you want to create in your life right now? And how many other people hold you in that desire? How many other people hold you in that and challenge you to grow in ways that are consistent with your vision? And they mirror back to you and that sense of possibility that you have, and they mirror back to you that you can do it, and they're giving you resources that you're missing. How many people in your life are doing that? And if the answer is no one or very few people, then you have a support deficit. And it's not possible to manifest something in this higher order and this higher capacity unless you can generate and activate the power of support around you. Now, you, and hopefully you do, have some good friends and you're a part of a community. However, if you feel like you're the one that's holding this big, precious thing that you want to create and you're holding it all by yourself, then you have an unlocked Power Center 3. And I really want to highlight and accentuate that friends are wonderful and we need them, right? But the thing is, I'm kind of talking about something different, because women and friends, we tend to, and we could possibly be, that we relate to one another in ways that don't necessarily support us to reaching our highest goals and possibilities. Because either we might be really covertly competitive with each other, and oftentimes in the same relationships, we might also end up affirming and colluding with the weakest parts of one another. And so we're just overly kind with each other and just agreeing with everything, rather than challenging one another, encouraging one another to step into our biggest visions for our lives. So sometimes when we have these really close friendships, we don't necessarily have the kind of support we need to unlock this power center. Okay, so to get that kind of support that you need, your ability, because once you get it, once you receive the type of support that you need, it unlocks your ability to generate, and it just, your ability to generate becomes exponentially greater. It's like you get into the fast lane and everything starts to accelerate. You know, and this has been proven when they watch geese fly in the formation and the V formation, they go 75% farther and faster than they would have if they went alone. And that's the same with groups, is when women come together and they're in a group container and they set an intention, they are 6 times more powerful than when they set that intention alone. So what I'm suggesting is we need power partners. That these are people that are as passionate about actualizing their highest possibilities as you are. So when you come together into a new kind of shared agreement, you come together into this new type of support so that you can support each other's vision of who you're becoming instead of who you've been. Because your friends that you've had for a really long time, they really only know you of who you've been and who you are currently, but they don't have the concept of who you're becoming. So they can't really support you in that. However, power partners, they can relate to you and mirror back to you the truth of who you are, not those old stories. Because they can hold you accountable for showing up in ways that are consistent with the future that you're committed to creating. So here's an example in my own life. I love practicing Qigong, and I practice every day. And I would have called a solo practice. And it wasn't until I was in a group of committed women who believed in Qigong and believed in me and saw me as a teacher that I was able to magnetize more students to arrive, right? And so when I had my solo practice, I had to do it all alone. I wanted to be alone, but it was a solo practice and no one was there. And now that I have a container and I have power partners and other committed Qigong practitioners and other women that are walking the priestess path, and we have shared agreements And now that those are in place, now all of us are able to exponentially magnetize the support and resources we need. And now I am able to magnetize new participants and new students to come into this workshop, and all of us are benefited, right? So these power partnerships and these containers of safety, these learning containers, these alchemical containers that hold shared agreements, that's where the power is. It's in that containment. It's very beautiful. Because here's the thing, my loves, when we're here to play our biggest game, to show up in our fullness, to contribute our gifts and our talents, to generate prosperity, to express our creativity, to love and be loved on deep levels, we don't need a meditation practice, which kind of makes me laugh because I've been meditating for years and I so value my meditation practice. But you know what else you don't need? You don't need a vision board and all your affirmations, right? Because those are you talking to yourself, doing your own thing in your own vacuum, right? What you need are power partners. What you need, the support of people that are committed to your up leveling as you are. You need a partner in this practice that will be up with you at night as you're writing your book proposal, the one that's going to hold you accountable when it's time to mail that proposal in and you're starting to wobble, when you want to birth your new project or bring your temple into reality or your sacred business, or to change your relationships or deepen your relationships. When you're ready to do the next step and you're starting to waver, you need that other person there to believe in you and to remind you of your truth of who you are. Because this kind of support is what begins to catalyze and activate the deeper possibilities of who you are. And that's the force and that's the power of this Power Center 3, because it teaches us how to make requests and how to generate the support that we actually need to play our biggest game and to show up in our fullness and greatness. Most of us, generally speaking, don't really know how to ask for this kind of support because it's kind of a double bind that we have in our culture. Because here it is, to be worthy of support, we don't need it. When we stepped into this old belief that receiving somehow meant going into debt or meant showing that we were weak, right? But think about how much you want to support others in your life and how good it makes you feel when you're supporting them. Others feel the same way. They can't offer support if you don't make your needs and desires visible. If they don't know what you need and what you desire, how can they offer it to you? They want to. So let's just go back. Let's go back to that thing that you're wanting to create. What has been the story you've been telling yourself about receiving support in this area? Where is it that you are not reaching out for support? And what would it mean for you to be supported in this area? These are really important questions to be asking yourselves, because what would it mean to you to be supported in this area? What would that support look like and feel like? What would it open up for you and make possible? I had to learn all of this, what I'm sharing here, and I'm still in this learning phase of reaching out for support. And as a midwife, one of the foundational teachings, and I spent so much time with women, was preparing them to cultivate a community of support around them, so that they didn't feel so weak when their identity shifted and they needed support in ways that they'd never needed before. And while I taught those things, I still hadn't embodied those things. And now, when I was in my postpartum, I didn't ask for support, and it was the hardest time. It was so hard for me, and no one came to me because I never made my needs available. And so they weren't visible. No one knew how to help me. They probably would have, but I didn't make it visible. And so now I'm here. And in this realm that we've been talking about qigong practice more so than birth. But it wasn't until that I was in this group of women and in this container and in these shared agreements that I was able to shift that I am a solo practitioner, right? It wasn't until I was able to shift and discover that the fundamental truth is we can't become ourselves by ourselves, and that we need to change that belief that I need to do it all by myself. So I created a power statement for myself. And it sounds something like this, and it fluctuates and varies with me a little bit. But the more support that I receive, the more powerfully I can show up in the world and generate prosperity for myself and for others. So instead of I'm a solo practitioner, I stepped into it's okay for me to receive support. The more support I receive, the more powerfully I can show up in the world and generate prosperity for myself and others. And I still say this to myself whenever I get stuck, because I can get stuck in this place when I don't know the answer or I don't know how to do something. And so instead of feeling weak or foolish or insufficient, I say to myself, when I'm in a situation that I'm stuck, I don't know how to do something, and I'm in this position and I want to bring something awesome into the world, and I feel like I have to do it by myself, I say, who do I know that could help me with this? Who can I reach out to and ask for support? And I might need to hire someone, or there might be someone in my friend group that can help me with this. Here's another thing I say to myself. Hey, Maria, guess what? There are women in your life who are more powerful and more successful and more capable than you. And they catalyze my greatness just like I catalyze theirs. So even though they're more powerful, more successful, and more capable than me, they're catalyzing my greatness, and I catalyze theirs, right? And so for years as a midwife, I was always helping everybody else. And that's just how it was. I had the knowledge, I had the resources, I had the herbs, I had the skills to help. And my thought was there was nobody that was more powerful or more able to contribute to me. That's what I told myself. No one could contribute to me. And you see, when you have a thought that no one can contribute to me, then you're stuck alone. But by uncovering that old story, I realized that I have this whole issue around receiving support and seeing it as weakness. And so now I've shifted this as not seeing it as a weakness, but as an opportunity to step into more of my possibility, more of success, and so that I can catalyze others. So you can begin to work with this yourself. Let's get you set up to work with this. So let's start this practice. And first, I want you to take a nice deep breath and think of someone that you can reach out to who might be a good power partner. Someone who's up for the calling, up for the challenge, someone who will stand with your biggest vision that you have, that you want to bring into the world. You know, and it might be someone in your social circle. It might be someone that you kind of know about, but you haven't really met yet. It might be someone that you choose to sit with and be in their circle and be in their courses. They might be someone as a mentor that you want to start to be close with. But it has to be someone who shares your same drive and that same impulse for awakening and self-actualization. Right? So drop into and think about who that person might be. Right? And then once you think about who that person might be, if it is a person that you know, then ask them. And if it's a person like for a mentorship, like connect with them, right? Join their course, be with them. So, but essentially you want to ask them to hold you accountable for a way to support you, to show up in the ways that are consistent with your vision. And it might even be to help you clarify your vision. And if it's a person that you know in your life that you have a connection with now, offer to do the same for them. Ask them to support you, and you offer to them that you can support their great work in the world. And if no one's coming to you right now, then I invite you to join into our Qigong community, because it's a rich resource of powerful women, and they're catalyzing and awakening and activating their own healing potential, and they're closing those gaps between their weakest part of themselves and with their strongest part of themselves. They're closing those gaps. They're uncovering their inner barriers and breaking through them. They're connecting with the earth and with the higher intelligence, and they're navigating into the unknown. And so you can connect with our Qigong group, and you can join our Calling Forth Their Feminine Power free temple. And if it feels right for those that want to go deeper, you can join the 10-week journey that we go to consciously choose your path. And so these are the first big steps to unlocking Power Center 3, to magnetize support. And I want you to take a moment to think about your life right now and the yearnings that you have and the knowings that you have in your clearest moments, those aha moments, about the impulses, about what might be possible for you in your life. And now imagine a year from now, after having unlocked all these power centers, and after you have tapped into and awakened your feminine power and embodied these practices in your body and encoded them into your body, what is possible for you? Who might you be as you stand in your power, connected to all of the cosmos, in new ways of thinking and being magnetized by a field of support with people that support you and will go the distance for you? Who might you be? And in your clearest moments, that woman that you sense you can be, that sense, that possibility that's bigger than you can imagine, I can tell you confidently that it is true because I've experienced it myself, and I'm continuing to experience and deepen and grow and evolve and emerge as the trueness and the radiance of who I am, and creating resonance and reciprocity with other women and catalyzing their greatness as they're catalyzing my greatness. I know this is true for every single woman who is willing to unlock her power and stand in her power. What about you? What about you? Who might you be? Are you ready? Are you ready to spread your wings and emerge as the fullness of who you are, and to soar, and to not take a blind leap of faith, but to confidently open your eyes with trust and confidence and soar into your future? Mm, mm. Welcome. The invitation is here for you, my love.